Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to make an all seasons rag garland like this. And we're going to be making some little stuffies that have different seasonal themes that you can add to it to make it seasonal. So it should be really fun. This project here involves a lot of my favorite things. And I just can't wait to show you. It's super simple. So as you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to sprinkle, all that good stuff. Okay, before I actually jump in, I just do want to ask if you guys saw this video. I did it well over a month ago, and these are just little rag trees. Well, our garland back here has a lot of the same components on it. So let's go through that first. And keep in mind that if this cream colored theme does not appeal to you, you can create something very similar using whatever color theme appeals to you. Okay, so first thing I did was I made a whole bunch of strips of different things. Okay, and I made my strips about 20 to 21 inches long. This is a fun project because it involves tearing fabric, and I don't know if you've done that before. It's super satisfying. So I'm going to say that my strips are roughly an inch or less wide. Okay, this is canvas duck. And I have other things that I use that I'll show you in just a minute. But let me show you how to tear strips. You just cut a little snip. I don't know, this is such a weird sensation. Oddly satisfying to tear fabric. And then, depending on how you like your look, you can pull the strings off to reveal the fringe. Some people leave most of the strings on when they do things with torn strips of canvas. I personally like a little bit neater, cleaner look. Okay, come on, where's the end of this? There we go. Okay. So this is basically the process. Then I'm going to measure it. And I'm going to cut a whole bunch of strips that are between 19 and 21 inches long and throw them in my basket. And that is what I did to get started. Let's finish this up. Okay, they don't all have to be exactly the same length. Okay, so number one ingredient was canvas duck. The next thing I used was some of this muslin that was sent to me, and same process. Just cut and tear. And these are this fabric is very stringy. I did not iron it because I wanted it to look kind of messy. And I'm not going to take the time to clean up all the strings off of this, but this is just a kind of a muslin sheer. They're all cream or white. Okay, so I'm going to throw those in my little bin of strips. Okay, so that's another thing. And then I decided to use some lace. This was also sent to me by a sweet person. And at the time I didn't know what in the world I would do with it, but I have used it a ton. So this is really too wide to tie on a garland, so I just cut it into 3. And you don't need to have your cuts be neat or straight. They're going to get tied in knots on your garland. Okay, so I have 3 more strips to put in here. Okay, so canvas, muslin, lace. Also, I used tulle. And this tulle right here is sort of a creamy color, and it came from Hobby Lobby. So I just cut a whole bunch of strips of tulle between 19 and 21 inches long. Throw it in my bucket. Okay, then, what else did we use? Oh, I had some of this, where is it? I had another lace. Oh, here it is. A roll of lace. I don't know where I got this, but I did the exact same thing. I measured it to be between 19 and 21 inches long, cut it in strips. So, okay, those were other things that I used. And then I also decided to use some yarn. Okay, this was something that I found. This is just the softest, creamiest, ooh, yummy yarn that I found at a thrift store in Boise, Idaho before I got COVID. Okay, and I want it to stand out, so I'm going to do 4 lengths of it, about 20, 21 inches long. And then I'm going to cut the loops. So it'll get doubled over like this, and that's kind of how it will look. For right now, I'm just going to put a little knot, a loose knot through the center so it all stays together. What else did I use? Well, I think those are the main things, but again, you could use any kind of fabric that you want. And yeah, okay, so to put your pieces on, let me just show you. I just did like a slip knot kind of a thing. Okay, here's a piece of canvas. I'm just going to do it right here. And basically what you're going to do is do a little loop, and then the tail's going to come over the rope and through the little bunny hole. And then you pull it tight. And you can, I do think it's easier to do this if you have it hanging up. I actually have been putting the pieces on it out in my in my family room. I have it on the fireplace. Okay, so what is it being hung on? For me, I opted to use some of this Dollar Tree rope. It's called nautical rope because it's the perfect color, but you can put it on jute or twine or yarn or absolutely whatever you want. Okay, so that's the basics of creating the garland. I am going to keep adding to it off camera, but let's talk about the fun part, which is the little seasonal elements. Okay, so I started initially playing with this idea for Valentine's Day. And these are the things I've made so far. We're going to make some more. This is this adorable stencil. And silver and rose gold ink. And some buttons, a little lace. This one, I'll show you how to do this. We're going to do something very similar. This is that really soft, wonderful quilt batting. I love to craft with it. And so it's stuffed. I'll show you all of this. I just want to give you a little preview. And then I stenciled using this set right here, which is Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day words. I stenciled XOXO on a piece of canvas that I cut slightly smaller, and I glued it on, and I put a button, and I put a longer string of lace so you can hang it so it drops down a little bit, and then I did a tassel. And it's going to be super cute. So my vision is to have 5 seasonal pieces per season. Okay, a big one in the center, and then 2 smaller flanking on each side. Let's go ahead and hang these up, and then we're gonna make some more. Okay. Okay, so there's the XOXO, larger heart. These are the shorter, smaller ones. And I did make a mistake on this, and I want to tell you. I think mistakes are good to have because you learn. So you don't need to make this mistake, and I won't make it again either. I made these way too short, but we're gonna live with it. The alternative is I could cut it off and just glue some on the back, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna go about 1/3 over. I'm gonna tie a very small little knot. And same with this one. Did I say any of my normal stuff at the start of this video? I don't think I did. I'm Hiedi Scott. This is DiyDreaming. Thank you for joining me today. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to sprinkle. At the end, I'll get you links if you want to recreate something like this. I can give you a supply list, so just ask for that and I'll do it when I'm all done. Okay, so let's talk about how did I create the, well, these ones especially. What I did was I took a big piece of canvas and whichever stencil I wanted. This was one for Valentine's Day that is called Heart Pattern. It's really cute and they're going all different directions. Great. I mean, I think you can use this more than just on Valentine's Day. Another one I used was this. It's a repeating love pattern and I used that for these. I did make a mistake that I want to tell you about so you don't make it too. When I was cutting out one of my hearts, I wasn't paying attention that this is an up or down kind of thing. And I cut out a heart with the word love going across it upside down. So if it's a pattern that you're using that has an up or a down, just be mindful of that. Yeah, I could hot glue some extensions to the short ties, Nancy's saying. Yeah, I definitely could. Okay, and then for the one that I'm showing a little bit, I used this stencil, which is my favorite. It's called Victorian stencil. And we're not going to make a mess right now because I've had a mess all morning long, but I'm going to show you the basics. I just put it on my piece of canvas. I took 2 colors. You know what? Well, I can't do this piece because I've got something already on the other side. So let me just tell you. I took 2 colors of ink. This is sparkling silver ink. Ink is for fabric. Okay? And this is beautiful. It's called rose gold. Oh my gosh, this is the best color. Look at that. Sparkling rose gold. So I put blobs on here and I just did swirly-do with the squeegee to push it through the holes. In the stencil, I washed the stencil. I put the packing sheet back on it. I think most of you, unless you're brand new, have seen me stencil 100 times. So I just kind of wanted to skip over that part and have it pre-done for you so you don't have to sit around and wait. Okay, so I did this on this piece of fabric right here. Here's what's left over of my love repeating pattern stencil in silver and rose gold glittering. And here is that repeating heart. Isn't it cute? Okay, so we're going to continue on with the with the Valentine's theme. But I'm going to show you in a minute how you can do Christmas, and then we'll talk about future holidays down the road. Okay, so I have some hearts patterns that I created on computer paper. And what I'm going to do, don't want to waste any of my fabric that I made. And hey, I will hang on to the little scraps and pieces that are left over, like this, because you just never know when you could use it for a future project. So I folded my pattern in half over a fold. We'll cut it out, then we'll get it back, then I'll show you how to assemble it. So this is fully dry. I did this hours ago. And I heat set it with an iron set on cotton, no steam. And theoretically it could be washed, it's permanent, but this fabric would completely unravel if you were going to do that. So I'm not gonna, obviously not going to really wash it. So here's my heart. I'll hang on to this because I will off camera make another. And just pin it on this piece right here of plain canvas. Here we go. Okay, where do I get canvas stuck and what is canvas stuck? That is a question that I get all the time. You can find canvas stuck at pretty much any fabric store. You can even find it sometimes at Walmart in their fabric department, if your Walmart has a craft section and a fabric department. The problem with getting it at Walmart is that, at least at my store, there is never anyone working in that department to help you. And that is frustrating. But so you can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Hobby Lobby, you can get it at Joann's. Michael's doesn't really have a fabric department. Any fabric store. And it is just, it's like a thicker canvas that has some body to it, and it comes in different colors. I have purchased red, white, and varying shades of this sort of oatmeal creamish color. The oatmeal cream color is my favorite. And here's one thing I would suggest. Get the heaviest weight canvas stuck that you can, because it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, I think we're coming back to the, oh, okay, so let me just show you this while I have it here. This is a piece of fabric that I created this fall using the fall leaves pattern on this piece of canvas and gold ink. So see, I will not throw that away. I'm not going to make some little fall doodads for this garland right now, but I could use this as part of it. All right. What do you guys think so far? If you are not a super cream lover like me, you could do this in any color you want. Okay, so I'm going to be smart this time around, and I'm not going to cut my little tie as short. And that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I am going to glue it on the back piece right here at the top of the heart. Okay, and I am using my low temperature hot gluing device. I'll hold this up in just a second to show you. this is what I'll use to tie it onto my garland. Okay, so let's finish this off. We'll put some doodads on it and then we'll work on this Christmas one, okay? Right, I'm just gonna go around the edge of my heart and press my two pieces together, and you are most likely going to get glue on your fingers, so that's why it's so important. You can use those little finger cover things, but I've just had one too many hot glue burns, and I think there's no point in it when you could do something like this. This is a Surebonder Cool Shot mini corded, cheap, low temperature hot glue device, and it works just great. Okay, I'm not going to forget and accidentally glue the whole thing shut. I'm going to leave a side of it open to stuff. All right, and before I start stuffing it, you can see I did not do a very good job getting my two pieces the same size. So I'm just going to cut off the part where this kind of goes over. Okay, and here's this side. This is what I left open on the side. Okay? And I'm just grabbing some polyfill stuffing. This came out of a pillow, but you can use whatever you have, whether it's actual polyfill for pillows or dolls, or whether it's pillow stuffing. Can you decoupage on fabric? Yeah, you sure can. Now, I don't think you can wash fabric that has been decoupaged, but why would you wash this? There's no reason to wash. I mean, the whole entire thing would disintegrate if you washed it. So, yeah. So yes, you can decoupage on fabric. And I love to use napkins, paper napkins. Okay, I have this, you know, stuff them as full as you like. And now I'm going to kind of push this in. And I'm going to put a band of glue right here along the edge. And we will pinch it closed. It's cute just the way it is, but I think I'll add something, a button right here. So I'm using my, what is this called? Abalone, I think, buttons. I got this jar at an antique store a while ago, and my vintage mother of pearl buttons are sadly very skinny, and I'm always on the lookout for those, but I haven't found any lately that were affordable. Okay. So then I'm going to hang this, you know, somewhere here. And I think it is super cute. I know it's a little far away for you to be able to see, but I will get close-ups, close-up pictures. Okay, so let's talk about this concept of making an every season or all seasons rag garland. Okay, so what season are we in right now? If you're watching this live on December, what is today? I'm not even sure. Oh, it's the 15th, on December 15th. If you're watching this live on December 15th, 2022, then we're in Christmas, full Christmas mode. Okay, so before I came live, I found a piece of fabric that I had already made using the Victorian pattern stencil and some silver and gold ink, and I cut it back and I cut a tree. Just nothing fancy. This is just a random tree, okay? And we're gonna figure out how we want to tie it, because this will be the centerpiece. It's the biggest one. Let's use some of this lace. And we're gonna make a tassel. I'm gonna show you that. Because this tree is not just gonna be a tree, it's gonna be a tassel tree for the center. Okay, so here are our ties. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and put them, glue them on the back so that I don't skip over this and not remember it. Because I can see myself doing that. Okay, so it's got two ties. They are glued to the back piece. And before we start gluing the rest of it and stuffing it and whatever doodads we want to add to it, let me show you how to make a cute tassel that can go on the bottom of your tree, or a heart. I shared pictures this morning of these ideas, I saw a lot of them, on Pinterest when I was having one of my non-sleeping nights. And, oh, it's so cute. So I'm just gonna show you. I'm using this yarn that I picked up at a thrift store. It's also a little tangly. Let's see. Okay, let's use this part. I'm gonna cut off the end that's messed up. Okay, I have been using my tassel maker tool every couple of days. And if you don't have one of these yet, you should get one. I love to do tassels. We'll be doing lots more tassels. I've used this to make all kinds of different things. We made angels using this even. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this 4.5-inch tassel. And I always start with a longer piece, and then we're just gonna start wrapping. Dang, I have some little knots here. Maybe that's why this yarn was donated, because whoever that was the original owner couldn't get it untangled. I don't know. Okay, I might have to pass my tassel tool underneath this to keep going. Or we might have a skinnier tassel. Okay, there we go. So just keep wrapping until you think it's the thickness that you want. And this is how I like to hold on to it. This tree is pretty big, so let's have our tassel be kind of fat. And when I make the other pieces to go with the tree, I will make them a little bit larger scale as well. Okay, so then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna create the top of your tassel. So I'm just gonna grab a piece of this, and then I'm gonna grab another piece to do the tummy. So I am going to scooch this over, and you see you have a little gap there that makes doing both of these things so easy. So I'm going to pass this smaller piece of yarn through that center, just on one side, and I'm going to scooch it up to the top best I can, and I'm going to tie. I am not doing a double knot yet on that. And then I'm going to use the other piece to go around the tummy. And I am going to do a double knot here because we can tighten it up once we slip this off of our tassel maker tool. Okay, so this is on the top, this is on the tummy, and I'm just going to shimmy this off of my tassel making tool. And first thing I'm going to do is tie this top as tight as I can. That makes the top of your tassel look nice. And then I'm going to go up just a little bit and put a knot on here. And this is what we're going to glue on the inside of our tree. Okay, now let's do the tummy. Okay, you're going to be winding these long pieces around the tummy, going in opposite directions. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it into a tassel by cutting all these loops. And we can, of course, give it a haircut. So here's our little tassel. Let's just clip off a little bit of this. And I'm also going to trim the tie that's around the tummy short. Okay, and here's my little tassel, which I am going to glue to the back piece of this Christmas tree. Just hanging down just a little bit. So we're going to finish up this Christmas tree, and so stay with me for that, and then we'll talk about future other holidays and things that you could do, because my point in making this rag garland is to make something that you can use over and over and over. Just take, you know, the doodads off for Valentine's Day and add some doodads for what is next. Okay, let's start at the top of our Christmas tree. Let me see if I push my camera back just a smidge, if you'll have a better view. Okay, so I'm going to leave one side open, and otherwise I'm going to seal up the whole entire thing. All right, and I'm leaving this little side piece right here open so that we can stuff it. we're going to do that, but let me get it closed. What do you think? Isn't it cute? And I'm noticing, as usual, that I did not do a very good job of having my two sides be equal. Oh well. I don't suppose that matters, really. Okay. So let me grab some stuffing. We'll get this stuffed, and then we can talk about doodads. I'll put it on here so you can see what it would look like. And with an item this big, I would have as many of these little looped rags on as possible, just to make the proportion right. So you don't want short little ties and then have a gigantic doodad in the center. It would look funny, I think. What do you guys think so far? Okay, so a lot of people tell me that they don't have a fireplace, which is where I usually keep a garland of some sort, or that they just don't know where they could put it. And I've seen them hung over doorways. I've seen them hung on buffets. I've seen them hung on arches, like from one room to the other. You could put it on a banister. You could just put it on the top of a mirror. So there's lots of things that you could do with something like this, even if you don't have a fireplace that you want to have a garland on. That's probably enough. Okay, so let's poke our I'm just kind of pinching it together because I don't want a bunch of puckers right there. And I'm going to cut off where my stuffing was poking out just a little bit. Okay, and this could be embellished with buttons, or I could put some bling on the top. I think I will come back and add some bling to it, but there's all kinds of different ways that you could embellish it. And what do you think about the little tassel hanging at the bottom? I did not do a very good job getting it even. Okay, so let's take this heart off the center. If you missed the beginning, if you're just hopping on now, when I'm not live anymore, this glued down, I encourage you to come back and watch the replay from the start, because I talk about everything, especially if you think you want to make one of these. What do you think? I know, again, it's a ways away. Oh, these were the trees that I made when I originally made this fabric. So they totally go with this. Thank you guys, you're so sweet. If you are liking this idea, I would love it if you would consider sprinkling this video. Sprinkle means share, it's Facebook language. Just to your Facebook page, or if you're in any crafting groups that allow it. That's what helps my page to grow, and that's ultimately what helps me a ton. Okay, so what else could we do? So here's Christmas. I showed you Valentine's Day. If you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, you could do some shamrocks. Going into spring and Easter, you could do some adorable bunnies and Easter eggs and stencil them with pastel colors, but you're still going to have your main piece really neutral. And then past Easter, going into summer, you could do some shapes that look like starfish or sand dollars, or, I mean, honestly, whatever shape you like, stuff them. And then for 4th of July, you could do this exact same banner and maybe have pieces that have stars on them, and you could do red and blue ink on those. And then you go, what are we going to next? Labor Day, same. Fall, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So you can see how you can, the base of your garland is going to stay super neutral, but you can totally change the look out by what little fluffy stuffed things you put on it. My vision is to have a big one here in the center, and then have 4 more, so a total of 5. 2 small on each side, and then the big in the center. And so for Christmas, I would probably make some smaller trees to substitute for these. If you're doing a red and green theme, you could do red and green ink. I did want to mention that you can also make this project using painter's drop cloth. I know I have some here somewhere. I don't know where oh, here it is. Let me grab it. So you could do this whole project using painter's drop cloth as your main thing, if you like this better. I personally like the canvas deck as the main thing the best. So what do you guys think? Is anyone gonna try it? And if you do, I would love to see pictures. I would love to have more ideas for how we could change things out for the season. So throw those to me in the comments, whatever suggestions you might have about what shapes we could make. Thank you so much for the stars. I didn't see who did that, but I appreciate it. So if you're interested in any of the things that I used, ink, this comes in a bazillion other colors, or any of the stencils, Victorian, love, hearts, there's all over patterns for every season. Or if you are interested in this set of words for Valentine's, just let me know. Or you want to look at this tassel maker tool, anything, just let me know and I'll get you a supply list of everything. Do a this or a this, that's a thumb or a heart. If you liked this project and you would like for Facebook to serve you my content again in the future, and do take a minute to check to see if you have liked and followed this page. There are some different things happening with Facebook right now, and every day people are telling me that they haven't seen me in a while, and did I quit? No. But they're not, Facebook isn't serving them my content anymore. So check your notifications, check to see if you've liked and followed this page, and engage. You can engage by doing a thumb, a heart, or saying something to me in the comments, and those things help improve the odds that you will see what I have coming up tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Anyways, this is totally me. Somebody called me the Queen of Cream, and that I am. I love cream. I love texture. Quilt batting is awesome for adding some of that. Tulle, where did my tulle go? Tulle is another great thing to add. So Victoria says, yeah, she's not getting notifications anymore. If you want to be on my text alert thing, I will post here on DIY Dreaming a picture that has the text number, because I don't have it in here. I can't remember. I'm claiming that I still have COVID brain, but I think I just probably never put that number strictly into my mind. But anyways, I'll post it. So if you want to sign up for text alerts, you would just send a text to the number that I'm going to post. It's going to be a bright pink image. Jody, I'm sorry you're not getting alerts anymore. I don't know. All I know is what you can try to do to improve your odds. So, hope you liked this idea of an all seasons rag garland banner, and that you love the suggestions that I made. And I hope you guys will come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, and then you'll tell your friends about this page if you like it, if you like the kind of crafts that I do here. So have a blessed and wonderful